Welcome to Wanna Be Clutter-Free, formerly Wanna Be Minimalist, the podcast for busy families who are tired of the chaos, fed up with being overwhelmed, and ready to enjoy life again. Each week, we talk about how to let go of the clutter so that you can focus on the things that actually matter. And it's not just physical clutter. We talk about the mental and emotional stuff too, because if it's holding you back, it's time to ditch it. I share what I've done in my own life to declutter, organize, and calm the chaos, but you won't just hear it from me. There are amazing guests too. It's practical, doable, and simple for those of us that want to be clutter-free. You're listening to the Wanna Be Minimalist Show, episode number 3. Today, I'm diving into 5 quick methods for decluttering when you are feeling stuck. Well, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the Wanna Be Minimalist Show. I'm your host, Deanna Yates. Today, I'm diving into 5 quick methods for decluttering when you are feeling stuck. So if you're anything like me, you've looked around your home on more than one occasion and thought, this doesn't feel like the relaxing retreat from the outside world that I wanted to be living in my adult life. And you know what? All of this stuff around my house, well, it kind of makes it hard to find the things I need when I need them, and it's really just making my life chaotic. Well, that's where I found myself multiple times in my life, and it's one of the experiences that led me on this journey toward minimalism. So no judgments here, I hear ya, let's figure out how to fix it. The problem was that I had too much stuff, and I'm guessing that's the problem for you too. Too much stuff. And so what I really want to help you do is tackle this issue. When we have too much stuff in our homes, but not enough time to do a full Konmari or a packing party. You already know you're drowning in stuff, but you don't know where to start. It just feels overwhelming. If that sounds familiar, today is the show for you. We're going to talk about 5 simple decluttering methods that will help you and your family get moving when you feel stuck. And if you want a quick cheat sheet for these decluttering methods, I have a free download for you. You can get it by joining the Little Green Bow community at littlegreenbow.com/subscribe. This will get you my free 30-day simplicity calendar and access to my freebies library. And if you're already a subscriber, you will find this cheat sheet listed under episode 3 of the podcast in the freebies library, along with lots of other helpful printables and worksheets. I think you'll really like what you find. Okay, but the better news is that you can start right away. So there's no need to buy fancy gadgets or read long books on this subject. In as little as 5 minutes, you can start to see progress, which will motivate you to keep going and move on to the next room. Before you know it, your whole house will be feeling a whole lot lighter. All right, so let's look at decluttering method number 1, the 5-box method. I love this super simple but powerful decluttering method, and in fact, it's one of our family's favorite ways to quickly declutter an entire space. With this method, you use 5 boxes, and if you don't have boxes, honestly, you can just use piles or bags. It really is just 5 separate areas to separate everything you have into these 5 categories. They are 1, love, 2, maybe, 3, toss, 4, donate, and 5, sell. Now, the genius about this method is that you touch every item in a room and you quickly make a decision as to where it goes. It sounds a bit like Konmari, but I think it's a little more forgiving, and you'll see why in just a moment. So start in one corner of a room and pick up every item and sort it. That's it. Now, obviously, if you pick something up and you love it, it goes in your love pile. If you pick something up and it's broken, you'll toss it. Maybe you have something you no longer need and you can donate it. Or if you have something that's above a certain dollar amount, I usually like to set mine at either $25 or higher because that makes it worth my time to sell something. Then I might put it in a sell pile. But now you also need to make sure that you have an expiration date on that sell pile, because otherwise it could turn into a never-ending project that you actually never get around to dealing with. And that's kind of got us into the problem we are in now, so don't let that become a recurring theme. Now, where we really start to differ from the Konmari method is with the maybe box. And this is one of the reasons I love this 5-box method so much. A lot of people, when they're decluttering, get hung up on sentimental items or something they think might be useful someday. They find an object and they might need it, but they're not quite sure. They're not quite ready to get rid of it, but it doesn't fit in the other categories. And that is exactly what the maybe box is for. It's for those items that you are unsure about. In the long run, this maybe box is going to save you time and help you process through your emotions as you're decluttering. It keeps you on task for the bigger picture, and it allows you to come back to this box at a later date. So speaking of later dates, what I love to do is write an expiration date on the maybe box. Perhaps it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now. It really will depend on where you are on your minimalism journey. But when you're looking for something, maybe let's say it's a week, you think, oh gosh, I just really need this thing that I put in my maybe box. Well, now you know it's something that performs a function in your life or something you missed. And with the maybe box, it's super easy to go get it. However, if in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, or whatever expiration date you put on that box, you haven't looked for anything in that box, you haven't missed it, you haven't thought about it, you can't even remember what's in there, well, it's so much easier for you to let go of those items on your next pass. Now, some people will recommend just tossing the box without even looking in it, but I'm definitely not one of those people. I would always wonder what I had put in there. But it does make it easier to say goodbye to those items when I do actually go look through that box again on the expiration date. And so that's what the 5-box method is and how to implement it. As you can see, it's a quick and easy way for you to be able to move through everything in your house without feeling the guilt or the overwhelming emotion that can come with just throwing everything away. All right, so hopefully you like that first one as much as I do. Let's look at decluttering method number 2. This is what I call the 10-item pickup method. And we've had a lot of fun with this one as a family. It's a great way to turn decluttering into a game for everyone. My daughter really liked this one when we tried it for the first time, so I recommend giving it a go. Starting in one room of your house, you grab a box or a laundry basket. I really like those plastic ones with the handles. It just makes it really easy. And you take that with you from room to room as you make your way around your home. The idea is to make 2 full trips around your house. So the first time around, you'll pick up 10 items from each room that don't belong there and put them away as you go. The second time around, you will find 10 items in each room to either toss, donate, or sell. So let's say you start in the living room and you pick up 10 things that don't belong there. For example, an empty water glass, a dish from breakfast, a toy from your child's room, things like that. And after you've gathered your 10 items in your basket, you go on to the next room. Let's say room number 2 is the kitchen. Well, you'll put the glass and the dish away from our example, and you'll pick up 10 more items from the kitchen that don't belong there. So now you're up to 18 items to put away, 8 from the living room, and then 10 from the kitchen. And it continues this way from room to room until you've made it all the way around your house and come full circle. And then it's time to start on the second pass. You'll still have a few items left to put away because you haven't made it to every room for a second time, but you'll have picked up and tidied every room so far. The second pass is not only easier, but where it really gets fun. As you continue to put away the items from your first pass through, you also look for 10 things to get rid of. If you no longer need something, you can donate it. Or if something is broken, you can throw it away. The goal really is just to get these items out of your house. So think about it. You have 5 rooms. That's going to be 50 things that you get rid of, throw away, donate, or get ready to sell. It can go really fast. Our daughter loved finding items that were out of place and looking for things to get rid of. It was almost like a treasure hunt. So younger kids will have fun counting up to 10, so I strongly recommend getting your family on board with the 10-item pickup method.
I'm Margaret.
And I'm Amy.
And together we host the podcast, What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood.
Margaret, I would say you're sort of a where are my keys kind of mom.
Correct. Sometimes a where are my kids kind of mom. Well, you're, Amy, more of a we were supposed to leave 35 seconds ago, Mom.
I mean, touche. In each episode of What Fresh Hell, we come at a topic from our usually completely opposite perspectives. I bring the research.
And I bring kind of the gimlet eye. Like, is that research really going to work, people?
And almost 10 million downloads later, we're still laughing.
We also talk to experts in the parenting field, plus parents with stories we can all learn from.
We make each other laugh, we challenge each other's assumptions, and we have what we think is the best parenting community on the internet.
Check out What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, so let's look at decluttering method number 3. It's a spending freeze. Now, this is not so much about getting the stuff out of your house, but it's more about using up what you already have. So the first time we did an intentional spending freeze, I was really surprised at how creative we were able to be with what we already had on hand. And even if this sounds scary at first, I think you will be pleasantly surprised by the end result. So how do you implement a shopping freeze? The first thing you have to do is decide on how long you're going to put this freeze on your spending. If this is your first time, I recommend starting with a shorter amount of time, even just a weekend or a week, and then increasing it as you get more comfortable, and probably work your way up to about a month at a time. The second step for a spending freeze is to cut out all non-essential spending. That's it. That means things like clothes, shoes, home decor, books, apps, gadgets, and anything else that is not necessary to survive. Obviously, you're still going to have to go to the grocery store to purchase food to eat, and you might have to purchase things like gas to put in your car. But in addition to cutting back on those non-essential spendings, you can also cut back on your grocery budget while you're doing these spending weeks. So one of the ways we love to cut our food budget is to shop in our own kitchen. So this is where we try to make meals out of only the things that we find in our pantry, refrigerator, or freezer. It's a fun and easy way to get creative in order to use up food before it goes bad. It's not only great for your wallet, but it also cuts down on food waste. So even when you're having a no purchase week for those non-essential things, you can still go this extra step and use up food you already have on hand. One tool I use to make shopping our kitchen successful is to use a website called supercook.com to see what I can make with groceries I already have on hand. So here's how it works. Go through your pantry, refrigerator, and freezer to make a list of all the ingredients you already have. Then head online to supercook.com and type in those ingredients. The website will come up with the recipes based on your ingredients. It's that simple. From there, you can narrow down based on meal type and cuisine, but it's great to get ideas for how to use up the food you already have before you go to the grocery store. And a bonus tip, when items are getting low in my fridge or pantry, I love to use that time to wipe down the shelves and toss anything that's gone bad. It's a win-win. And since you're not allowed to buy anything new during a shopping freeze, I like to use this time and these new sparks of creativity that we seem to be finding with my wardrobe. And you can do this by going into your closet and just shopping for a new outfit. Actually have fun with this and get your kids in on the action. Have your kids put together an outfit for you just to see how they would put it together. Have a fashion show for your family and see if you like any of the new ways you're wearing your clothes. It may not end up being something that you wear out of the house, but you just might be surprised. Either way, it's fun to see things in a new light, and this is one of those really simple, easy, and great ways to do it. These weeks of buying less and looking at what we already own in a new light have been a lot of fun for us. That's why one of the things we love to do every once in a while, even if it's difficult, is a shopping freeze. All right, that moves us on to decluttering method number 4. This one is really more of a gradual method, but you can start working on it immediately. It's called the 1 in, 2 out method, and it's just like it sounds. So this decluttering method helps you with a slow declutter, and it really works on creating a mindset shift. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. So if you feel like you've actually gone through the decluttering process and you're still unsatisfied, but you're not sure what else you can do to, get rid of more stuff, or you don't really see anything else you feel like you can live without, then this is the perfect method for you. Every time you bring something new, or just new to you, into your home, you replace 2 items and donate them. This works really well for almost anything in your home, but for women, I've seen it work best in our closets. You probably have a lot of different clothes that perform more or less the same function, like coats and outerwear. Or maybe you have different tops that are similar in color and silhouette. If this is the case, could you replace 2 items with just one that you really love? You can do this just by looking in your closet and tossing similar items, but the mind shift starts to change when you're out shopping for something new. As you are looking at and making a purchase, try to think of 2 things in your house that this one new thing could replace. Then you get to donate those 2 old things, and so you're 50% lighter when you bring the new thing home. This method helps you be more aware of how we use our things and makes you think about what you're bringing in. It really does keep me more aware when I'm out shopping, and I automatically start to think if a new item can perform double duty before completing my purchase. So next time you're out shopping, try to remember the 1 in, 2 out method and see if you can find something that will perform double duty for something you already have at home. And that brings us to our last of our 5 decluttering methods. Number 5 of our quick decluttering methods is one you probably haven't actually heard of before. I call it the jailbox method. This one can be a little tongue-in-cheek, and you really need to make sure that your family is on board. But again, it's another fun way to incorporate decluttering, and if you can keep things fun, it's going to be much easier to get your family on board. All right, so another tip, if your spouse or significant other is not on board, I would do this just with yourself and your children before you try to coerce your spouse into it. All right, so what is step number 5, and what is this jailbox method anyway? Well, basically you set up a special box that is off limits that you call the jail. Anytime something is out of place at the end of the day and you are the one that had to pick it up, it goes to jail. Let's look at an example. If you've gone through a decluttering process or you've tidied up a space, let's say you had friends come over and you did a huge clean for your house. Of course, we've all done that. Guilty here too. Your house looks amazing now, right? But how long does it take before your house looks like a mess again? Well, the jailbox method is perfect for this because it's way easier to spot when something's out of place in a clean house. So side note, at the end of the day, I highly recommend doing a quick 15-minute cleanup with everybody in your house. I'll discuss this in next week's podcast, but it's an easy way to tidy up every night so that the house doesn't get super messy again. But if you're doing a final sweep at the end of the night and find a toy that didn't get put away, you can put it in jail. In order for your child to get it back and out of jail, they have to do a chore or a decluttering task. I recommend not only doing this for your children, but for you and your spouse as well. Again, as long as they're on board. But this way you can lead by example here with the jailbox. Now you see why the jailbox method works so well. It's really a 2-for-1 when you tidy up and you get an extra little chore on top in order to get your stuff back. So the real trick here is to keep the tasks age appropriate. For instance, fluffing the pillows, gathering up laundry, or sorting socks for little kids, and things like taking out the garbage, emptying the dishwasher, vacuuming, mopping, sweeping, or cleaning the bathroom for older kids. Also, think of tasks that wouldn't happen as often, like cleaning the blinds, in order to take the jailbox idea to the next level. So, there you have it. 5 simple decluttering methods to help you get started. To recap, they are 1, the 5-box method, 2, the 10-item pickup game, 3, a shopping freeze, 4, the 1 in, 2 out method, and 5, the jailbox method. Don't forget, I also created a cheat sheet to recap these methods so you can refer back to them whenever you are feeling stuck. You can download a free copy by joining me and the Little Green Bow community at littlegreenbow.com/subscribe. This will get you my free 30-day simplicity calendar and access to my freebies library. You'll find this cheat sheet listed under episode 3 of the podcast, along with lots of other helpful printables and worksheets. I think you'll really like what you find. Decluttering is not something that happens overnight, but it does not have to be overwhelming either. Start with one of these tasks and add in others as they feel right. I can't wait to hear which method you like best. If you have another decluttering method you like, please let me know in the comments below. We love hearing new tips and tricks to share with our community. Next week on the podcast, we'll be talking about how to get your kids to declutter their stuff. You won't want to miss it. See you then.